Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. And today we're going to talk about one of my all-time favorite baits that I'm very happy to see is back in production again. You know, over the years we've had really popular baits that go out of production and then come back into production a few years later, and it seems like they're just not quite the same. The wigglewort, for example, when it was the Storm wigglewort, it was just a phenomenal bait. Rapala bottom. They've come back out now as like a new Storm, and it just doesn't seem to generate the same number of bites. In my opinion, it doesn't. You saw it with the Excalibur XR50s and XRK50s, and now Booyah's got it. I don't personally think those baits are as good. I can't really point my finger to why, but it's just my opinion, and there's a lot of other people that feel the same way. Well, one of those baits that's one of my favorite topwater baits is this one right here. This is a Reaction Innovations Vixen. This is an old one. You can see I have put this to use. I have caught a ton of fish on this specific bait. I've gone swimming twice to get this bait back when I hung it behind trees and stuff like that. Like, this is a very good bait. And the funny thing is, I honestly had a bunch of them, and when they stopped making them, they started going for insane prices, and I was able to sell several of the ones I had for like $100 a pop. Now, I didn't have like 100 of them, but I probably had 5 or 6, and I unloaded, I think, 3 of them and made $300 on it. I can't complain about that. But the funny thing is, at that time, I wasn't using them, and then I got onto it, and then I wished I had them back, and I've bought several more, probably for close to $100 as well. And so I'm probably about even on it. But here's the thing with this bait, guys. There's some story to it, because Reaction Innovations had it. They then, I believe, stopped making it and sold the mold. And I could have this completely wrong. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a company called Paycheck Baits at that time. They bought the mold. They started making it as the Repo Man. And then I believe they either went out of business or sold Paycheck's Baits, but they stopped making the Repo Man. And then I believe Teckle bought it and started making it again as the Nick Knocker. And then Teckle, I believe, still makes it, but Reaction Innovations has recently come back out with it. So I've got, you know, a couple of different ones here. This is one that I really like. My buddy Mike sent me these. I've got some on order right now because Tackle Warehouse does have some in stock. They haven't been in stock for so long, but they've got some in stock right now. So if this is something that interests you guys, take advantage of it now, because there's not many that they had in stock, and I don't know how long they'll still have them, but this is one of the new ones. Mike sent me a matte black one that says Vixen on the side. It's a beautiful looking bait, some limited edition collectible. The point here is it's back, and I was really concerned right off the bat that, you know, okay, well, I've used the Repo Man, caught a lot of fish on it. I've used the Nick Knocker, wasn't sold really on the Nick Knocker as being close to the Vixen. The Repo Man I felt like was really good, and I've got a bunch of those as well. But I've been playing around with this guy now, and I gotta tell you guys, I cannot notice any difference. You know, when I play with the old Wiggleworts, I feel like there's a different sound. I feel like the action's different. You know, the XRs, they don't run right. They, to me, are different. And then in this case though, I can't find a difference. Like, I feel like they're making the same bait. I don't know if they still have molds, if they rebought the molds. I can't tell you specifically, but there are things about this bait that are different than most other walking baits, and I feel like that's what generates the strikes. So I'm gonna point out some of those differences. The first and the biggest to me is that the hook hangers are not parallel with the bait. They're perpendicular to the bait, which to me creates some sort of drag in the water, which I believe, in my opinion, it feels like when you pull it, because they're all perpendicular, they're gonna grab more water, and therefore I think that helps the bait walk better, because it's a great walking bait. I don't know, I don't understand the logic behind it, but there's something to it that's different, whether it helps the bait walk, whether it pushes water away from the bait differently, which gives it some sort of different feel to the fish. There's something to it, and I don't know of any other baits that have the hook hangers that are perpendicular to the bait. A very unique feature. The next is just the overall sound in it. You've got you've got big BBs as well as small BBs in here. The bait is one of the loudest walking baits out there. And I know personally that creates some reaction strikes, especially if you're talking about drawing fish up from deep water. I've caught so many fish out of like 25 foot of water on Lake Mead, the Clearwater lakes here of the upper Midwest, Smith Lake, I've crushed them, the big spotted bass, Lake Lanier, I've crushed them on it. And you're fishing over 25-30 feet of water, and those fish are coming flying up for it. So it draws the fish up. It's just one of those great sounds, and it's a unique sound that a lot of other baits don't have. The other thing is it feels like a heavier bait to me. It sits a little different in the water, and because it's a little heavier, and I think because you have the perpendicular hook hangers, it creates more drag in the water. So when you're working this bait, it creates more V. You can see that it pushes more water away from the bait, which is a unique thing. A lot of times you get walking baits that just slice through the water and they don't push any water at all. When you fish this bait, it pushes water. You see, like it's like a wake coming off a boat. It's a different thing. So I don't know if that helps draw the fish, because the fish are feeling that in their lateral lines as well. But there is something to, and they're super sharp hooks, the Reaction Innovations Vixen. I am very happy to see that they're back out. You can buy them, but you better be quick. You better pay attention. Like I said, I've got, I believe they keep issuing occasional limited edition runs, which there's not that many that are produced. So if you're lucky enough, you can get in on that. Usually you can see that on their website if you watch for that, or on their social media, they'll talk about when they're doing a release. But the reality is, every once in a while, Tackle Warehouse gets them in. Like I said, I think they've got 3 or 4 colors maybe in stock as of this video, but I usually post these or do these videos a few days before I post them. So I can't even tell you for sure that they're still going to be in stock. My point is to you though, if you can find them, I really recommend buying 1 or 2. They are expensive topwater baits. They usually run for like 20 to 25 bucks, somewhere in that range. But they're worth it, guys. I mean, there are so many people. Let's just put it this way. There's a reason when they stopped making them in the first place, they were selling for well over $100 each. It's not because people are collecting them. It's because these things catch fish. As you can see, you can really put them to work. And I know, like there's a huge following of professional anglers that just love these things. And every time they see one sitting in your boat, they want it. In fact, it's the only bait I've ever had stolen out of my boat. I was at a tournament. I went and weighed in, came in, and somebody had cut the line and left my line. And took the bait and just left the rod there. They came over, cut it off, took the bait. They could have taken the whole dang rod and reel, and they didn't. They just cut the bait, probably threw it in their pocket, and walked away. Brings back bad memories thinking about that. But that's how much of a demand there is, and it's because they catch fish. So guys, check it out. If you can find the new Vixen, I highly recommend it. I can't tell a difference between the original Vixen and this one. I would love to know what your opinions are. Am I crazy? Is the old one every bit better, or are these pretty close? Because I'm thinking these are pretty close, and in the time I've been playing with it, they've generated as many strikes as I would expect to get from the original Vixen. So let me know what you guys think. If you enjoy the videos, hit a like button. If you watch on a regular basis and have not subscribed yet, guys, please hit that subscriber button. It doesn't hurt you at all, and it helps the channel out. It's very much appreciated. And if you're doing tackle shopping, go to tacklewarehouse.com. Use my affiliate link in the video description. Check it out. Thanks very much. Stay tuned. Another video tomorrow. I want my Vixen back. Not a bad one. Little guy, probably 35. Most importantly, I got my vixen back.